Hi, my kids are coming home a little bit. It's taken for a long time, but so bye.
Still a tiny bit of snow down there at our coldest part of our pasture. But everything else has melted.
There is snow down there and snow up there.
Yeah, there's another part of the pasture.
This is for our turkeys and geese. We don't have geese yet, that'll be next year, but our Thanksgiving turkey is right over there and we'll be slaughtering it in a few days. So I'm glad this came in time. But look at this solid lumber here that I just real quick milled from an old and bad log that you wouldn't have gotten any money for. It's 2 inches thick, but the real full 2 inches, 5 centimeters and 10 inches wide. And just build a nice solid wall here. The feeder for the cattle will be here and it'll hold the deep bedding in. Would have paid a lot of money for this if you would have tried to get this at the store. So it comes in very handy, the sawmill.
What are you milling this for, Simi?
These are 2 boards that were left over from the logs that I milled the other lumber from that I just showed you. I'm gonna build a few boxes out of pallets and just put a frame around them because I'm starting a nursery for the farm. Because we plan on
You made stairs?
Yeah, I made stairs, yep. Plan on planting a lot of trees here on the farm, especially a lot of fruit trees and nut trees, but we want to have a really high quality. We want to have lots of old kind of varieties, and we want to craft a lot of the trees, a lot of the varieties on the right root systems ourselves. So I've been collecting seed from trees that are growing locally here that are quite adapted to this climate, to the soil, and we're gonna put those seeds in these little beds on the pallets now because they need exposed to the frost, to the cold winter, so that they can sprout next year and that we can already have hundreds of seedlings next year to start with. So starting the nursery, I just have a very simple approach to that. I just try to put cheap infrastructure, make it simple, create an environment with it that the seeds would naturally have. We're just gonna have them sprout and get to a certain height, and then we're gonna put the little seedlings into root trainers to have the best possible root system on these trees for when we will transplant them eventually. And so we're just using these small pallets. I want to prevent the mice from getting to my little roots and seeds in here. So I'm gonna just real simple be putting wire down here. It'll also help to keep the soil into place. When we put it in here, and we'll have a compost sand mixture. We'll be covering it with leaves. Just super simple. And I like to work fast and efficient. This doesn't have to look super pretty. Just gonna cut the wire.
Yeah.
reason I'm going for wire both here and then later at the top too is because I just don't want any surprises. I don't want mice or rats going in there and just messing this up and lose a whole year worth of growth. While many American tools for some reason have a bad reputation here in Europe, I really appreciate a lot of the tools. This hammer, Estwing, is a really good brand. I can really appreciate a lot of the techniques and tools that come from the US, and really enjoy this hammer and my tool belt. Just try to find a place where you can put these. You don't want them in the sun so they dry out quickly. Gonna have them there where it's a bit shaded. And since they're on pallets, we can always move them anywhere we want later with the tractor. Okay guys, here I am. I had to work without the camera. My wife wasn't able to film. This is it. These are 3 pallets that I prepared with seeds, with apple seeds, with pear seeds, with cherry seeds, with some plum seeds and beech tree seeds for the forest in case we want that or sell them. It's covered with the wire on the bottom so no mice can come in from underneath. It's covered up top, also for birds. We have the compost. We mix sand into it, and then we put the seeds in, mix it in a little bit, very lightly. I mean, in nature seeds drop to the top surface as well. And now I covered it with leaves and then the wire again, and I hope that this will work. I hope that these will germinate next spring. They have to stay outside, they have to get wet, they have to freeze for a few weeks to be stimulated, and I hope that we have a lot of little seedlings in the spring that we can then later on use for crafting, craft nice old and new varieties of fruit onto these little seedlings.
Whoops. That was Danny's doing right here. Gotta fix that. So right now these guys are getting a mixture. They still have some grass here that they're eating, and we've started feeding them a little bit of the silage that we have, just to get their tummies adjusted to the silage gradually. These chickens got a fresh patch of green grass this morning and they love it. Gonna get a big load of firewood right now in the wheelbarrow and bring it inside, because we go through a lot of firewood right now. Our house is not insulated well at all, and it's been cold, so we're actually kind of curious to see how it'll be when it gets actually really cold this winter.